Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Cantina Quarterback.
It's been a long week.
Great start. Great start. Fuck it. We're doing this live. We're back at the Cantina Corner podcast. How y'all doing? Probably better than I'm doing right now.
Back, baby.
Fuck me.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. So hello. We are doing Marvel today. Normally we do those on Friday. That's been like kind of our consistent norm, but today we're moving it to Saturday as well as moving forward until further notice. So something changes. Keep your lookout for that. But as of right now, we're looking at about around like a Saturday release. So expect that. Unless anything changes, we'll let you know. But as always, before we get into anything, I want to put a huge shout out to everyone who still follows the show, loves the show, does the social media. I'm being very, very dramatic about this. But yes, thank you all for the support. We greatly appreciate it. We've been putting content out as much as possible. Now we're putting content out more days than we used to, so expect to see more. That's going to be great. We also want to talk about our new sponsorship that we have through Raise. It's the Rep Sports company that does Raise Energy. They've got great products, as I've talked before in the other shows. If you haven't heard already, we have a coupon code that you can use. It'll get you 15% off at checkout with a discount, no matter what product you buy from them. And it's a great product. They've got lots of stuff, whey protein, pre-workout, you name it, they got it. Definitely check them out. They've got some bundle kits, a lot of cool stuff. So we're happy to be partnered with them. And then yeah, that about wraps up the intro. Now that I've fucked that horribly, let's get into Marvel. What's up, guys?
Sup?
What up?
So I will start this off as always. First of all, Nick, welcome to the Marvel episodes. Glad to have you up to speed and involved with this. I know everyone knows you from the other episodes that we do, so happy to have you here for that. One thing I want to start this off, usually I started off with asking Cody what his initial reaction of the episode was, but because this is your first time here with us, Nick, I want to start it off with you because I'm curious to hear what you said. I know I've heard a couple things you've talked about as far as the show as a whole, but like, what was your reaction as far as this episode and what you've seen so far? Like, kind of in like a quick synopsis. What'd you think?
Oh God, I hated this last episode. Oh God, it was awful.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie. It was funny too, because as I was watching this episode and when it ended, I'm like, I picked the wrong week to jump in on this episode. I am not a huge fan of filler episodes, and that's kind of all this one really felt like. And after the way the last episode ended, I wanted this episode to just be boom, 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 like start to finish, just fucking give it to me. And the first like 15 minutes or so, that fight, whatever, however long that took, the fight was awesome. But then after that, the way the rest of the episode went, I was just like, oh, I get it. They need to set up stuff for the rest of it. So I should say it was garbage. But like I said, I really want to just, oh my God, action start to finish. Oh, when Captain America bashed that dude's face in, I was waiting for the next episode to just be like, oh, just keep going. And it was like, it wasn't bad though. I get the filler, setting it up. It wasn't terrible.
Okay. All right. We'll go deeper into that as we dissect the episode. What about you, Cody? What do you think of this one?
I mean, I loved it, per usual.
Okay, because I really liked it too. Obviously, I agree with Nick that obviously slow sometimes does kind of kill the vibe a little bit, especially after something just so dramatic. But I personally assumed that they were going to do slow after that because it was such an intense moment, like to really dissect like what happens after that, like really go through like the human element, the character element, like the story. I figured it was going to get.
Just give it to me.
Well, I mean, that's what we've been getting every week. So the fact that you got to burn through it, I can understand your dismay of like all of a sudden hitting a slow point because each week for us as we've been going through this has been like bang, 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 bang. And there really wasn't a slow episode. I think there was maybe one that
No.
kind of like slowed down a little bit, but it was still pretty action packed. So yeah, this was the slowest slow burn episode that they've had.
It
Yeah,
was.
I blame them. I blame them. They put me in that mindset of like every episode was great, and I was like, yes, this is really awesome. And then they just like yanked it away from me. I was like, oh. So
This next
No, I
one,
know.
this next one's gonna be fucking out of control.
Yeah.
This next episode's going to be absolutely out of control because it's the last one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's only
Yeah.
a 6-episode series.
Oh, this
Which
next one better be damn good then.
Which I was surprised about too, because I didn't know the like definitive number of how many episodes there were. I know we've like kind of guessed about it throughout, these reviews for the show, but I didn't know. And then my girlfriend was like, "Yeah, next one's gonna be the last one." I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, it's only gonna be 6." I was like, "I hope they do more, but I guess okay, whatever." and she was worried, which kind of made me think about, how much just happened. Then we had a slow episode. It's like, if the next one's the last one, like, are they going to be able to finish it off like good? Is it going to be like rushed feeling? Because I feel like there's more that they could still flesh out that they still haven't even like brought in yet. But I mean, I have faith in them because it's been pretty flawless so far. So I'm just a little worried.
Are they supposed to have a second season at all, or was like was
They're
the plan?
talking about it, but
Because I kind of feel the same like what Adam just said. If they don't wrap it up like nicely, there was so much that did go on in this. I know I bitched about it being filler, but there was so much stuff that like I was like, if they're gonna only wrap it up in one more episode, because I didn't know it was gonna be six, like
yeah,
it's got to be an hour and a half long episode or something. Then like,
got to be a
That's what we
movie.
that's what we said.
yeah, like seriously.
That's what we said about WandaVision, and it was only like what, like 50 minutes. It was
Yeah.
still like the normal runtime. Because I said the same thing. I was like, it's Marvel. They can probably do it, get away with it. They got the money, they got the budget, the whole bit. But it was still like the normal random runtime that was like just under an hour.
That's what this one will be. That's my guess. I mean,
Yeah.
because we're pretty much this episode ended like he's about to suit up and go to the final battle. I mean, so my gut feeling is this is going to be like 90% action, and it's going to end on a cliffhanger. It really is, in my opinion.
Set up for maybe a second season then if they end on a cliffhanger.
Maybe not a second season, but like you gotta remember all these are intertwined with all the movies and stuff. So like there's gonna be parts of this that are gonna show up in movies.
See, now that's where I'm behind. Obviously, you guys know I've been trying to catch up on this. So after we're done with this tonight, actually, I'm gonna watch. Is it Infinity Wars Part One of those Infinity War and Endgame?
Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after this, I am gonna watch that. So I've been kind of catching up. So I could see then,
Yeah.
how it kind of
It's all gonna
I guess,
intertwine.
okay.
So
I guess it's great then.
Yeah, because I mean, even in this episode, which I guess we could start out with, because it was the biggest thing that people were talking about, other than the actual action scenes and the talking scenes, which is standard, was the cameo that they had, as far as the character who is like, the Contessa, the person that was, undercover in Shield, undercover in Hydra. At one point was called Madam Hydra. The whole bit. She gets in there, she shows herself, introduces her to John Walker, talking to him about what he did, how she knows everything. So that was a big cameo piece that dropped in, that I think exactly what we're talking about as far as intertwined. I mean, she's intertwined with like the Black Widow stuff as well as like Nick Fury and like everything. So I
Yeah.
mean, everything connects somehow.
And the Secret Invaders, which I think they're coming out with a show on. Her character is like prominent in that storyline in the comics. So
Yeah, because in the comics she also had like a love interest with Nick Fury too at one
Yeah.
point, I guess.
See that when she did come in, I was talking to him after he had stormed out of the room. I obviously, again, me catching up, I'm like, who is this woman? She's just coming in like it seemed like you're supposed to kind of know who she was, but obviously I have no prior knowledge.
well, that
I
was the
had to look
first
it
time.
up.
That's the first time she's been in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So unless you
what is it,
knew,
any movies or
unless you
anything?
knew
Like
her name, like you didn't know who the fuck that was.
Julia Louise Dreyfus, that's all I knew. That's about it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember her name because her actual character name is like so long, and she gave like
Yeah.
4 versions of it. But
Yeah.
I knew that it was someone important. I knew that it was an important cameo because of who, the Captain America John Walker becomes, because of what Cody said and the research I did. So I knew that she had to be like a pivotal role. And I was like, I feel like this is a moment I'm supposed to be like, oh shit. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up, and that's how I found out like briefly all that info that I spat out about her was just literally like skimming through articles. I didn't even go through like the full detail of everything that she's done. It was kind of like a wrap up of everything she did.
See, I thought about maybe something like that, but I kind of like this way I'm going with it, just kind of coming in completely blind. I'm really liking it because I'm liking all like just everything that's been going on and catching up on these movies are really not bad. Not
No,
bad at
because
all.
you're
No, they're
lucky
not.
because you don't have to wait.
That I'll tell you what, that is really what's kind of nice too, is like I could just figure out a day where it's like, okay, I'm gonna knock out this one and then just go like, I don't have to wait like a year for next year for a movie to come out or something like that. So
Yeah, especially Infinity War and Endgame. Those two, being able to watching those back to back is fucking.
yeah.
Endgame's a really good movie.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It's
I'll be excited
fantastic.
for it.
But as far as this episode goes, speaking of action, because I know Nick was very hyped up about seeing some more action, you have to admit that intro to the episode when they show the fight between the 3 of them was fucking epic.
Oh yeah, that was the best part for me. That was the best part of the episode because it kind of like it also that's what also made me think like, okay, they're just gonna give it to you like right away. It's them three fighting, or them two fighting him, and then I was ready for the rest of the episode, and then it kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't bad though. Yeah, that first fight scene was awesome though. That was great.
The beginning of this episode made me do it again with Bucky. I was like,
Really?
this guy could be Luke Skywalker. when he sat there and he's like, you guys don't want to do this, he's like, yeah, we do. I was like, this guy could be Luke Skywalker.
I could totally see that.
He's got resting Skywalker face is what I call it.
And like that, sorry, like that, like thinking about it, and like, yeah, we do. Like, I want to beat your ass right now. Like, yeah. I told this to Kim. I don't know if I told you. He's becoming one of my favorite characters in like the entire MCU.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and
Yeah.
I remember when this show first started, and we watched like those first 2 episodes, how we were talking about like he's gonna steal the show. Like we agreed. Like
Yeah.
I mean, his obviously, the Falcon is great and everything, and what what might happen if they're going the direction we think. Because I've seen some theories online that he didn't want those wings back, even though he's training with the shield. He didn't want the wings back because he keeps hating how like inferior they are. Like the Air Force isn't doing it right. They're fucking it up. Like they're shit, blah, blah, blah. So Bucky, the theory is that he asked for like a new Falcon suit with like wings, maybe made out of vibranium or something stronger, whatever, or like a better what he had, as opposed to the Captain America like feeling that it seems like. So I don't know what you think about that. It seems like a far-fetched stretch to me, but I've been reading stuff about it.
So
Yeah.
those wings weren't made out of vibranium. I
His
thought
first
they
ones,
were.
no.
Mm-mm.
I just kind of assumed, and then even when what's his face, John Walker ripped off his wings, I still was kind of like thinking that maybe they were or something. But
No.
No, there
wow,
wouldn't be a way to do it with the amount of beat that shield goes through, with how strong all the super soldiers are that mess with it. If his wings were like that, there's no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
But
can't
I mean,
remember if it was Stark Technology or that other dude, that other douchebags.
I
can't
don't
remember.
remember.
Oh, just a quick side note. I watched Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming. I seriously hate Tony Stark and Iron Man now. I'm like over him. I never had a strong opinion of him before, but watching Civil War and then Homecoming, I'm like, this dude,
Well, those are the
but we can get back to the
That's
show.
him, man.
those are the 2 movies where he's most annoying and like brooding and
Hawkish.
being emotional. Yeah.
But I gotta ask, quick side note: Homecoming, Tom Holland as Spider-Man. What'd you think?
Solid, not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
I liked it. It was a little weird at first because they cast him. And this is coming from watching Tobey Maguire as the Spider-Man. They made him seem older when it was Tobey Maguire, kind of a more mature Spider-Man. So first it was a little weird, him kind of being more immature, more kid-like. But then as everything kind of went on, it was like, okay, I dig this. It's not bad at
Yeah,
all. I
he's
kinda
good.
liked it.
And
Yeah,
it just
he-
gets
it was
better.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
Michael
he's-
Keaton, I mean, Captain Gene.
Yeah, Captain Gene,
God,
dude.
dude.
He's gonna be in the next
It
one
was-
too.
Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
should be. Yeah, he's gonna be in Morbius too.
Yeah, they show him at like the end of the trailer of Morbius.
What's up, Doc?
That's right. That's right. I think you showed me that trailer last week. That's right.
Yeah, because
God,
I think
I
you
love-
said the same thing. You were like, Captain Gene? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Batman's are in. He's got to let the people know. But
Uh-oh.
one thing. What?
Batmans are in.
One thing I do want to point out about that fight before we move into like the slower parts of the episode, because there's a lot to pull from that. My favorite part of that fight, I probably witnessed the best like way to knock out somebody I've ever seen in a long time, when he flies at him with the shield and Bucky's swinging him in the air and then just smacks his back. Like when they did that, I was like, that was so creative. It's so beautiful.
It was like some kind of ridiculous Van Daminator.
Yeah, it was
insane.
it was a WWE move, dude. It was like a tag team
But-
championship move right there. Yeah,
I
it was
getting
dope.
hyped. It was great.
Yeah, that's a perfect way of putting it. It felt like WWE. Like just right away, I was just like, oh shit,
And
like a
snapping his
TLC match.
fucking arm, dude. Oh,
God, yeah, it was so brutal.
oh.
And
But
the
then it was
way,
like, oh, this guy deserves it though. Fuck him.
and just the creativity of it too. Like he was using his jetpack booster
Yeah.
to like propel him forward as motion, because he has no strength compared to them. And then Buck, I was just like, the whole creativity with that fight, and like when he was sitting there saying like almost like he's being taken over by the drug, because part of my theory when he kept saying, "Why are you making me do this? Why are you making me do this?" was he was angry at them for like giving him so much shit. But I also feel like he was like talking within himself, like almost like he's got a split personality. Like he's got the super soldier rage shit, almost like a play on Winter Soldier. He's got this kill side to him, but then he's got like who he knows who he is. So I feel when he was saying that, it was like on a deeper level.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it was such a strong scene to see him do that. Like it was just an internal struggle. Like he was on autopilot. He kept doing the whole trying to chop people's heads off thing that he did in that, it was just amazing. And you can almost see that split personality side of it when he's sitting there going through all that struggle as he's walking away, finally gets down on his knees, goes through all these weird flashbacks and horror images, and then all of a sudden he just snaps out of it, goes cold stone face and just says, "Time to get back to work." And it's almost like he's like splitting back and forth.
Yeah.
And you can like visually see it, and they did that so well.
Yeah, for sure.
But as far as the talking points in this, because there's a lot of slow moments, they go more into I believe his name was Isaiah, the
Mhm.
Black Captain America. They go more into that. What did you guys? I know we talked about it a little bit, Cody, yesterday before we thought we were doing this and moved it to today. But it was a powerful ass scene. How did you feel about that, Nick? As far as that conversation they had and how it was more of a play on government really than it was on race, which I hope people understand. Like that was like he was talking about like America and the government are the problem.
Yeah, that's about it. The government is a problem.
Yeah, but I
Always
figured,
has, always will
I know
be.
you always have a strong opinion when we talk like politics or government and stuff. Like, that was probably, I figured you would enjoy that scene a lot.
Yeah, yeah, he wasn't wrong. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I did kind of think putting some of this race stuff in here, but then like when he's sitting there talking about it and all that, it was like he's not wrong. The government's a bunch of piece of shits, so that's exactly what they're going for image above all, and they show that continuously out throughout that episode too. What is it, the GRC, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
When they're sitting there in that room, I know it's later on in the episode and we're not quite there yet, but when they're sitting in that room talking about their image and what they got to convey to the world and all this stuff, it's like this is exactly what the dude's talking about. Like
Did you
they're
catch the
just a bunch
line that
of
was said in that meeting?
what's that?
Did you catch the line in that meeting that was said
You guys.
when they were all in the meeting at the end? And they were like, "We have to think about the optics," and the guy's like, "The optics will be what we tell them." And I was like, "They nailed this."
Yep. Yeah. It literally went back to what the guy was saying in that scene there. It
Yeah.
was like, yeah, this is exactly like yeah.
Yeah, I told
Not to
Adam
men-
I was super impressed at the fact that Disney actually went that route
Mhm.
because I thought for sure, like, when he was talking about the red tails and, they came home to cross his burn, I was like, all right, how bad is this about to get between like a race thing? And then like that was it. And then it literally was straight about how the government treats black people in this country, which is it's fucked up.
Mhm.
And I actually really enjoyed that scene, that stuff because of it.
That's when he was talking about them just injecting stuff into him. I was like, it sounds just like those Tuskegee experiments you hear
Yeah.
about, where they were just injecting syphilis into the African American population back in what the 20s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they're like telling him it's. He's like, hey, they told us it was tetanus. So it was like they had to have taken that and literally used
It was
that. Like
literally,
it was
that's
dripping out.
exactly, yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
like,
Yeah. I was going to say that's where they got
and
the
then as it
inspiration
went on,
from
I'm
that.
like, yes, this is yes, fuck the government.
Yeah, I also liked how he said they will never let a black man be Captain America. It wasn't America, it was they.
Yeah. Not that it's never going to happen. He was specific by saying that.
Yeah,
Making sure, yeah, he's talking about the establishment or whoever
exactly.
is controlling the power, you know.
Which I love because it's a great that entire scene is a great build up to eventually if it happens Falcon becoming Captain America. It's like the best way where you can like be proud again of someone holding that shield and wearing that suit or the new suit or whatever it's going to be. It instills that like fucking Steve Rogers back into it,
Yeah.
because it's coming from a place of like unity and knowing what's right and all that stuff, and it's almost like they gave you his entire reasoning and backstory as to why, which we got a whole movie with Steve Rogers. This we only got a scene, but I feel it was just as effective.
Yeah, recreates a symbol.
Yeah, because I
Honestly.
also like when he goes to unshield the shield, or unsheathe the shield. Ugh, that was hard to say. Sheathe the shield. He was like, "Is that what I think it is? Don't even open it up." He's like, "Those stars and stripes don't mean anything to me," and it was just like shot right there.
Yep.
I thought it was great. I thought it was really
It was
good. The other one that I thought that they did very well, coming from my military perspective, and obviously I know you guys probably felt the same way because it's black and white, clear as day with what they were conveying. But when Walker was in there, and you could tell he's calm and he's going through the hearing, he's doing what he has to, and they're just grilling him, just telling him they're going to strip everything away from him, take away his his record, his medals, no retirement, no rank, no benefits, no nothing. Man, even though he did what he did, he emphasizes he just wants to speak his piece and they don't even give a shit. And I understand what he did was like horribly detrimental, but from a military perspective, when he's sitting there just telling you, I want to explain, you made me, I only ever did what you wanted me to do. Like I've basically been your puppet. I've dedicated my life, all this stuff. And then you could just be thrown away like a red shirt in Star Trek, like it's nothing. Like, even though you were like, he fucked up, like that shit happens
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And you could even see him, and he's just broken because of that brainwashing. He's like, "You built me, like you made me, and now I'm like, a liability. So you're getting rid of me."
Yeah, the dude's an asshole, and that whole up until that scene, I was like, I hate this dude. He's a piece of shit. But then as he's sitting there explaining, I'm like, I'm not really feeling sorry for him, but I can understand his perspective a lot. And I was like, that's exactly it. Like they literally made him into that, and like he just took it to the full extent of what his training was. And it was again unfortunate scene and what he did and all that, but it was like for a split moment, I was like, yeah, I get what this dude's saying.
And that's it right there. That's it. That is why Marvel dominates superhero movies and
Mhm.
shows. That is something DC cannot do. If you cannot make the viewer, and Nick's totally unbiased, doesn't know anything, he's just watching it. It's perfect. Completely, like, Marvel makes you understand the villains, like, where they're coming from. Like, you literally, they make you feel some sort of, like, when when Sam was talking to the redheaded bitch, I forget her name every time, but what
Carly?
Carly,
Yeah.
when he's talking to her and she's explaining it and you're like, I like totally get where she's coming from. Like
Oh, yep.
everyone was gone, she was homeless, she got moved into a house, and then everyone's back, so guess what, you're back to a dog on the street. Like you could totally understand. Like I'd be fucking pissed off too. Like like it's they do a great job of it. That's what makes
Yeah,
a
I mean,
superhero movie.
Marvel does a fantastic job of always showing that there's two sides of the story, two sides of the coin,
Yep.
no matter how you want to look at it. Obviously, one's worse than the other, but at the end of the day, they do a great job, like Cody said, of showing the human side of these evil villains.
Yep.
Yep.
And like I think when I watched it, because I watched it for a third time today in prep for this, since I had the time, and I watched that scene again, and I like kind of like how they did the social commentary about Isaiah being Black Captain America, and he was making remarks on government and really talking about like the social commentary of what's going on today with government and different things. I also think that scene with him in the courtroom also was a little touch on what we deal with our military having PTSD issues, and all these different things that like mentally scar you and mess you up to cause you to have these types of situations. Like if he wasn't Captain America and didn't kill that guy out of rage, he might have done something like that in a normal world civilian sense at some point, probably because he's got 3 Medal of Honors, he's been through hell, his friend just died, which is another thing that's going to add on to it. I thought it was, and I could be completely shot in the dark, but to me it seemed like they were talking about like the PTSD of things with these soldiers when he was talking about, you built me, you made me, you created this, like you're the reason I am what I am, all this stuff. I that's just how I took it. I don't know if you guys caught any of that or felt any of that.
No, honestly, with like you said, he might have done it even without taking the serum and stuff, because you could see through the episodes how they're kind of showing like he's got these insecurities that are popping up. The reason he takes the serum to try and
Yep.
be on the same level as like Falcon and Bucky, and just it amplifies the most negative aspects, unfortunately. But yeah, I could see if maybe he didn't take the serum, something like that still happening,
Yeah.
and then he'd still get treated the same way by a bunch of douchebags.
When the Mirage kick his fucking ass and he's like, yeah, they weren't even super soldiers. And it's like, you can see
Yeah.
he's totally like, I'm
Broken.
trained and I can't even handle these girls. Like,
That when I watched the episode 2 and he got his ass kicked, you could tell he was pouting like a little bitch, and he's
yeah,
like, "I need to do something because I'm like, yeah, not on the same
severely
level."
outnumbered.
Yeah,
And I will say, I believe and I could be getting his name wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's right, is Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, who's the actor for John Walker.
really?
Um,
Kurt
yeah,
Yeah.
Russell's one?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
I always knew him as the quarterback in 22 Jump Street.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly who I knew him as. I didn't know it was Kurt Russell's son.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I found out about it because I was like doing research for the prior episode before me and Cody did it, and I was watching interviews of him, and he was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he just brought up his dad. You know your dad, Kurt Russell, and I was like, excuse me, what?
Now that you say it, I can see it in his face a lot now.
Yeah, that's what my dad said because he watched the show and he was like, I can't unsee it now. He's like, I see Kurt Russell. I was like, I know, it's uncanny. He's got the hair and everything. But yeah, he's done a phenomenal job with the character. And I thought that scene, like you said, when he got beat by the Dora Milaje, you could see he was just broken, and
Yeah.
he's done a very good job of conveying like that, like normal side, psychotic side, like all those different things.
Yeah, he's given himself an acting career after this, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, because he's been in stuff, obviously, like 22 Jump Street, big movies, but it's always been
Yeah.
like goofy
Smaller
roles,
parts.
whatever. Oh yeah, I mean, now that he's in MCU, he's going to be in the MCU in some capacity for a long time, depending on what happens with his character.
Honestly, he does play it really well because, like, I hate him so much, but it's because he conveys those emotions so good. Where it's like this dude is a douchebag, but you could see why, and it's like it is real. I do as much as I hate the character and how he's an asshole, but he plays it. He does play it so well.
Yeah,
so good.
And that's one thing the show's done fantastically that me and Cody been talking about, Nick, is they do a great job of love-hate relationships with these characters. You never know who to trust, you never know who to like, you never know who's going to turn on someone. It's literally an espionage package like no one could dream of,
Mhm.
Like they're doing so phenomenal of this. It's like Jason Bourne on steroids. Um, and that brings me to my next point on who can you trust, because I know Cody mentioned this. Did we say this live or was this just in person?
No,
I
we
can't
said
remember.
it. We said it in
That's
our bold
right.
predictions. I called it.
Yeah. Yeah, Cody called it, which we're pretty sure is true by the way they portrayed it, that Sharon Carter could possibly be the power broker.
That's exactly what I thought when I heard her make that call. I was like, this bitch is the power broker. I know it's gotta be. And then that French guy shows up right after she gets off the phone with them and gives Carly stuff. I'm like, the dude on the phone was French. Boom. Case solved. That's it right there.
Case solved. Yeah.
And you could tell they tried to hide it a little bit by him only speaking French on the phone and then speaking in broken English when he was in there to like
the
throw
only
you
thing
off.
he said was bonjour when he showed up. Yeah. And I was like, yep. I was like, sealed. And it's the dude in the very first episode that Sam is chasing in the helicopter. It's the guy that jumps out of the helicopter.
Okay. Okay.
And what's funny is the first time that he shows up when he gives Carly all those weapons and whatnot, when he says, I'm only here to kill the Falcon. First time I watched it because his accent was so rough, I was like, I thought I heard, I only want to kill the fucker. And that's how I read it. I didn't think Disney or anything. I was like, oh, there you go. And then I watched it again. I'm like, I'm a fucking retard. Why would I think Disney let that in here?
It would have been funnier if he was like, I'm only here for the Falcon. It's like the Millennium Falcons in the MCU.
We're doing a crossover episode.
Yeah, I called that shit last episode, bro.
Yeah, and because he asked me, he was like, "What are your bold predictions on who you think Power Broker is?" And I was like, I don't know. Obviously, so go first. And when he explained it, I was like, I can't even say anything. I was like, I'd have to pull someone out of my ass because that's like airtight to me. And then when this happened, I was like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So good on you, Cody. Your streak continues of figuring shit out before the rest of us do. But I'm excited to see that because if this is last episode, this is the first time we're going to see her if she is Power Broker in that capacity. So I
have a sneaky suspicion that we might not find out this episode. Might be one of those. Might be one of those unspoken truths. Like people just know, but like the other people in the MCU don't know that she was pulling the strings behind this the whole time.
You don't think that would maybe be where they might roll this into a movie or something, or maybe a different show where like she's maybe more prominent in that role? Well, I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys because, like you said, this stuff kind of intertwines with the movies and all that.
This could pop up in a later TV series where it would fit. So
okay,
I could see it almost kind of like what just happened with the Contessa popping up with John Walker.
Yeah,
like everyone knows that she's involved with the comics if you follow it or do the research,
right?
But then she just pops out of nowhere and it just makes sense, So that could happen again. Or if they're thinking about doing an extra season, which I have seen rumors, obviously, I stress that rumors. They might do it where they just focus on Power Broker and like all that side of Madripoor, while the rest of them like are done or however
Yeah.
they finish it off. They might do some like Power Broker side season,
Or how she got into the role,
exactly.
like an origin.
It may be a cash grab, even though it's like a subscription service, but I would still be interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
I'd be down for a second season after this one, honestly. Even with the slow episode yesterday, I wouldn't care. I'd be down for a second season. So
It's kind of crazy how popular WandaVision was, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier has gotten more clicks to view than WandaVision did.
I think it's because WandaVision was too obscure. People were
plus
hesitant.
it started slow. I mean, this one was like right out of the gate, action packed. So
that's me coming in again, not really having any background on any of this stuff. I have no desire.
You would hate WandaVision. It's like the last 2 or 3 episodes are like there's action, but it's like literally just all story building.
Yeah,
for the most part.
I'm good. Coming into this though, I've been hooked since the first episode. I'm like, yeah, this shit is great. Like,
yeah,
this shit is good for you because if you went into WandaVision right now, not really watching anything Marvel, being as invested as like me and Cody have, for instance, it's a very Easter egg heavy show. Like you have to know everything to like even pick out partially. And I mean, Cody was picking out shit. I thought I was good to go, and then he would like list 30 other things, and I'm like, fuck, okay. Like it's like that. Like you have to pay attention to everything. It's like watching The Matrix for the first time. Like every single second of that movie, you have to pay attention in order for it to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm probably good on WandaVision. So
you could always check it out after you burn through everything else that's good. It could be like a later on in life type of thing. I mean, it's worth watching. It's just I wouldn't recommend it for you right now. But I'm excited to see what happens in this last episode.
I'm excited to see the suit, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm excited to see because there's really not much more about this entire episode. So, because it was just a lot of talking, very lengthy. You know, they did a lot of. I did like how they. One last thing I'll say is I did like how they did the whole bonding scene between Bucky and Sam. How they were like building the boat together, like you know,
Bucky and Sarah. Whew.
Ooh, Bucky and Sarah got some tension, bro.
Oh.
But I thought it was great. It was great bonding. It was great to see those characters. I even watched one reviewer reviewing it. He's like, I needed this. He's like, this is just nice. This is just nice to see. He's like, I just needed this. Just 2 buddies working on a boat, like taking a break from hell. And I was like, yeah, I get it. You know, calm before the storm kind of makes sense.
You know, I got to point something out too, just because I got to call some people out. I've seen some stuff on YouTube, reviewers who are totally like just missing the fucking ball when it comes to like we talked about. Sam gets his own like Rocky Balboa type scene when he's training with the shield and all that, and he's working out and stuff. But before that whole sequence starts, when Bucky leaves and Sam turns around, and this is like the slow-mo, and people are like, oh, he left his left side open because he's on your left for Steve Rogers. It's like, no, because you're looking on the screen, that's your left side. It's fucking Rogers who'd be on his right side. That's empty. And now he's holding the shield on his left. You fucking morons. That shit pissed me the fuck off. People just see like, oh, it's my left, so it must be his left.
Yeah, some of those Easter eggs that people try to pull out of nowhere are horrible.
Yeah,
I watched a video where it was like, oh, top 5 Easter eggs you didn't see in episode 5, and it was like one where they were like hyperfixating on like a text on the Sokovia like war memorial or whatever it was, and I'm like, I don't even want to click on this because okay, it probably reads something, but it probably means fucking absolutely nothing. So I'm not even gonna click on the video because it's just. Like there's a lot of clickbait with these reviews when it comes to this shit
100%.
that mean nothing.
Speaking of that, one scene too where he was about to blow fucking Zemo's head off, and he finally got to see those bullets that weren't spent.
Yeah, I know. When I saw that too, I was like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
So he did have butterfingers. Dropping them everywhere.
I did like that scene though. It kind of symbolized to me, like him saying that he's not going to kill for, like he's done with that part of his life, doing it to Zemo. He's not like going to kill anybody like that, all that stuff. It just symbolized like almost him like separating himself completely from that, finally, like taking a huge step. So I thought that was great how they did that. And especially showing Zemo. And it was kind of cool to see Zemo just be a normal person for a minute and just be like, I took the liberty, crossing myself off your list, like I'm turning myself in. Who knows if it's for nefarious means? If he wants a free trip to Wakanda and see all their shit and then do some crazy stuff, who knows? I don't know. because it's Zemo. So I was hoping they might do something like that, which may be a season 2 thing as well. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
He only
Either of
wants
you.
one thing:
What's that?
no super soldiers. But
I know.
he did say he's gonna let Bucky live.
I'll tell you what, they played him as a great red herring if Sharon is end up being the power broker. Because seriously, the whole time, like they're talking about him going through these episodes up to this one, like they kept talking about the power broker. And I'm thinking this dude's gonna do something bad the whole time, and then it ends up that it's this bitch that's helping him is gonna be a sneaky snake. And yeah, he just turns himself in, and I'm like, I'm waiting for this dude to do something the whole time. He does nothing but help him. I'm like,
He turns himself in
all
Civil
right,
War too.
all right.
Once he
Yeah.
accomplished what he wants to get done, you know, he
Well, actually, he was gonna kill himself.
was
and
going to
then,
kill
what's his
himself.
face
Black
stopped him.
Panthers to stop him.
Yeah,
Which you watch that? Is that 10-minute like conversation between them two is one of the best scenes in the entire MCU.
it was good.
It seriously is. It's incredible.
Especially now with Chadwick Boseman, passing and stuff. It's when you see scenes like that and you think like what he was probably going through, like real world, physically and mentally with his cancer and stuff, and still pull off shit like that.
Yeah.
God, it's impressive.
Yep.
But okay, well that pretty much wraps up the consensus and review
Hold
of
on.
this.
I'm not done yet.
Well, I was going to ask you what you think is going to happen next episode. I wanted to get into theories and predictions for that, unless you have something.
That's
more for this.
fine. Well, I mean, this kind of goes into that. What do you
That's
think
what
his suit looks like?
I think it's going to be some type of black and white or black and gray. It's going to be something dark resembling a Black Panther-esque like style, like coloring wise, but it'll be in a Captain America. Okay, Black Panther style colors with Captain America style, if that makes sense, combined into one. It's going to be something merged into that, I think.
Quick question, because I'm not gonna have an opinion on the suit because I don't know enough of the lore and all that stuff. But that's what was in the box he got.
Yeah, his
We're
suit is
assuming.
in the box, is what we're assuming.
Okay. Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking when, yeah, because obviously they didn't show what was in it. They just kind of showed him looking and stuff. So
Yeah.
It's going to be sick. I hope they do the comic one.
I haven't even looked at the comic one because I want to be surprised by the suit. Like I
Oh.
know in the comics he does become that, but I want to see like what their version is and then compare it after that because I want to
Yeah.
get like my initial reaction to be truthful.
My bet is they make it like the comic. That's my
Okay.
bet. So I won't really explain how it is, but I think you'll be pretty surprisingly happy.
Just say yes or no. Is it anything close to what I described? Like am I on the right track or completely off?
I mean, your color scheme was off.
Okay.
But
Okay, because
yeah,
that's
it is a
what I was
Captain
more-
America style in the comics
Well, I would assume.
with an addition. It kind of merges his past and what he's about to be. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Captain
I've
Falcon.
got some ideas.
Captain Falcon.
I am Captain Falcon on top of a mountain.
And obviously, Torres was just handled the mantle of Falcon.
With the wings, and he's the one that knows how to put it back together. I honestly thought about that. I was like, is he gonna like pursue that? Is he gonna take it up, or is Sam gonna like tell him to?
Again, it was one of those obvious things, but I called that episode 1, if you remember.
Yeah, you did.
Told you
I
we
do
were
remember-
introduced to the new Falcon right away
Yeah,
when he was working
because
on
they-
Red Wing.
yeah, and they were so buddy and sitting there at the cafe in the beginning, and yeah, I do remember that now. You saying that. You honestly should have been a screenwriter, dude. Like you should just like I don't know why. Like you have a great job, but like just go be a screenwriter.
just
I'm
gonna
not-
do it.
see, this is the thing with me. I am not a great writer. I have a lot of great ideas. What I need to do is have someone who can write really well, and me just sit there and just spout ideas and have them write them all down.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Like, cause I do have a lot of visual things in my head when it comes to like movies and shit like that, but I
Yeah, I know,
wouldn't
you're
know
always-
the half of putting it together technically.
Yeah, because I know you're very analytical with this shit. Because I remember, and this is totally off topic. Before we get into more theories of like what's going to happen next episode as far as ending it, I always laughed when you said you couldn't watch the Saw movies anymore because you just figured this shit out
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah. The first one I ever saw, I think was it the second one where his dad was a cop? The dad, I called that like, I mean, a half hour into the movie. I was like, all these people in this house are people that his dad put away. And I remember my cousin Adam was like, what? And I was like, it has to be. That's the only connection that there is. And he was like, what are you talking about? And it was like 15 minutes later, they were like, you don't recognize any of these people? I was like, yeah. I'll never forget that.
I know. And
What
ever
did I
since you
say?
told
I
me,
was like, don't play Clue with me, bitch.
yeah, you said that on one of our podcast episodes early on, which is why I wanted to reference it because it's almost like a time vault thing that we've talked about, teased into. I always thought that was funny, and ever since then, when we've done like Marvel and all these things, I'm like, this motherfucker, man. But how do you think, either of you, whoever wants to go, how do you think that this is going to wrap up? Like, how do you think they're going to leave it off? Is it going to be a cliffhanger? If it is, what kind? Like, are they going to like round it up and like be a solid ending? Like, what do you think we're looking at here?
Go ahead, Nick.
I'll let you take this. I'm not gonna have any thoughts on a cliffhanger because I don't, like I said, I don't know enough of like the backstory. I'm coming in so blind that, and that's why I don't want to do research on anything because I like the perspective I'm coming in at because it's just like I just like I don't really have any particular thoughts. I just want the episode to be fucking great, action packed from start to finish. That's what I want.
It's definitely gonna be a cliffhanger.
Yeah, I feel
John
it is
Walker's
too.
still gonna be around at the end of this.
Now, I do have a question on that. So is he gonna be like? Obviously, he's gonna be going after Carly because they killed his buddy, but he's not on the same side as either the government or Bucky and Sam. So is he just gonna be like this third party that's just gonna be raging there? Like,
Probably. And he'll probably get his
okay,
ass beat because he
kind of
has
a
a
rogue,
normal
like,
metal shield.
okay.
So, but I think he'll still be around. I think you'll see Madam Hydra and Miss Carter. I think that'll be the last thing we see. Is them
I
too.
feel that with that whole symbolism with the shield and him making that shield, yes, it is metal, which I was like he knows it's gonna be shit, like whatever. I feel that he might be making that and then taking. I don't know if they're gonna do anything because I don't know what this Contessa character, Julia Dreyfus is playing, if she has some way of making it better. Like he's building the construct of it and then he's going to take it to them and then they're going to be like, you can't go out with that, or like he's going to be like, hey, can you do something with this? And they like somehow like warp it into something better than what it is, because what he was making it out of was like literally fucking scrap metal. Like he's not
Yeah.
that dumb to, I would assume that they would write it well enough to know that he's not that stupid to think that's going to work.
Yeah. Bro, I gotta send you this TikTok my sister sent me today. And it was, you can't tell me this post-credit scene didn't seem like a Home Depot commercial. And they have the Home Depot theme going in the background as he's making the shield. Dude, it's hilarious.
Hammer sounds and shit.
Yeah, it's like doom, 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 doom. It's fucking great, dude.
I hear it in my head and I'm watching the scene in my head and it makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah.
But I thought that was cool.
He did do a great Batman impression though when he jumped out of the window onto that van and he's like, "Where is she?" Oh, I thought it was Batman.
I did too. The minute he said that, I was like, is this the Joker and Batman? Oh god, but that was good, and I did like one line that they said, which is the last thing I'll say because I ain't got nothing else on this episode personally. Um, was when he said, "You saw I had to kill him. He killed Lamar, but
Yeah.
when he had nothing to do with the death of Lamar, and you could tell that he was just seeing red, and he just wanted to kill one of them." And I thought that was a great, nice touch. That he was trying to, you could tell he was putting that in his head to believe that that's what he was doing and justifying that person's death, but it really wasn't. And I thought they did that really well.
Sounds like an army thing.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
I
that's
know.
why people.
I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying.
I'm laughing because you have to laugh because it's painful. Why do you think psychotics laugh? Not because they're happy, because they're trying to hide that darkness inside of them. They're like, I'm having fun, when inside they're like, I'm losing my mind. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in the next episode. I hope they do it right. I have faith because they've done such a phenomenal job with the show so far. I really hope that this is a solid ending to everything, if not a good enough cliffhanger, if it is one, because I hate it. There's shitty cliffhangers and then there's good cliffhangers, ones you can appreciate, ones you can be pissed off about, especially not knowing if there's going to be a second season. So with that question mark in the air, I'm hoping if it is one, it's a good one. And obviously, we know the timeline of what's coming out next with Loki and all that other stuff. So, if they do a cliffhanger, sometimes it might tie it into something coming out. That would be cool. But who knows? Other than that, is there anything else you guys want to hit on with this?
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for our Marvel Episode 5 Falcon and Winter Soldier Disney TV show. Got that right. Beautiful. Yeah, we will see you for the finale, and we will do our best to cover that, do our analysis of it, and give you any theories about where we think it's going to go from there when it's over. So you have a wonderful fucking rest of your weekend, and we will catch you next time.
Deuces.